Stop talking about your plans. Seriously. Stop announcing everything you're about to do, because the men who are actually winning in life, the ones building wealth, building discipline, building real success, almost never tell you what they're doing. They move in silence. And the reason they do that is simple. Talking is easy. Execution is rare. Think about it for a moment. How many times have you heard someone say, "I'm about to start this business," or "I'm about to change my life," or "Just wait until next year. I'm going to be on a completely different level"? You hear it all the time. Plans, announcements, declarations. But months go by, sometimes years go by, and nothing actually changes. Why? Because most people confuse talking about success with actually working toward it. High-value men understand this difference immediately. They understand something most people don't learn until much later in life. The moment you start telling everyone your plans, your focus begins to weaken. Not because you suddenly lose motivation, but because talking about progress tricks your brain into feeling like progress has already happened. When people hear your plans, they react. They say things like, "Man, that sounds amazing. You're going to kill it. That's a great idea." And for a moment, your brain rewards you. Your brain actually releases dopamine when you talk about your goals. It literally cannot tell the difference between the satisfaction of talking about it and the satisfaction of doing the work. So you get the chemical reward of success while sitting on the couch. You feel good, you feel validated. But here's the dangerous part. You receive the emotional reward without doing the work. High-value men understand this psychological trap. And in today's world, this is harder to avoid than ever. We are programmed by social media to broadcast every minor detail of our lives. We want the likes, we want the comments, we want the immediate gratification. But you have to actively fight that programming. So instead of announcing their plans, they protect them. They keep them close. They stay focused on execution. Because execution, not conversation, is what actually changes your life. Now there's another reason successful men move in silence, and this reason is even more important. When you start sharing your plans with everyone around you, you invite something that can completely destroy momentum. Opinions. Suddenly, everyone has something to say. Someone tells you it won't work. Someone else says the market is too competitive. Another person tells you they tried something similar and it failed. Now your focus is divided. Instead of working, you're explaining. Instead of building, you're defending. Instead of progressing, you're debating. Think about the flip side of this. What happens when things don't go according to plan? Because the reality of building anything valuable is that you are going to fail at some point. You are going to stumble. But when you move in silence, a failure is just a pivot. It's a quiet lesson. You recalibrate and keep moving. When you announce your plans to the world and then you fail, it becomes a public spectacle. Now you have to deal with the pity, the "I told you so's," and the quiet judgment. You add the heavy weight of embarrassment to an already difficult situation. Moving in silence protects your ego from the noise, so you can focus strictly on the solution. Let's take it a step further. Look at how real wealth, real empires, and real brands are actually built. The people making the biggest moves in the market, the ones building massive companies, or the ones setting up generational wealth, they aren't posting their daily checklists online. They aren't broadcasting their investment strategies or their business blueprints for everyone to copy or critique. They are studying, they are analyzing, and they are executing behind closed doors. They understand that leverage is lost the second you show your entire hand. When you talk too much, you give away your competitive advantage. You invite unnecessary competition. And worse, you invite people who want to attach themselves to your momentum without doing any of the heavy lifting. Moving in silence is the ultimate protection for your assets, your time, and your vision. High-value men don't waste energy like that. They understand that energy is one of the most valuable resources they have. Every conversation takes energy. Every argument takes energy. Every attempt to convince people takes energy. So they remove those distractions. They stop trying to prove themselves. They stop trying to impress people. And they redirect all of that energy toward the one thing that actually matters, the work. Because real progress doesn't happen through conversations. It happens through discipline. It happens through consistency. It happens through showing up every single day, even when nobody sees it. That's why the men who move in silence often surprise people. You look up one day, and suddenly that quiet guy you barely noticed is succeeding. He built something. He created something. He elevated his life in a way nobody expected. And people ask the same question every time. How did he do that? The answer is simple. He didn't spend his time explaining his plans. He spent his time executing them. Now here's something else people misunderstand about moving in silence. Moving in silence does not mean isolating yourself from everyone. It simply means being extremely selective about who gets access to your vision. Not everyone deserves to hear your plans. Not everyone deserves to know what you're building. And definitely not everyone deserves to influence your direction. High-value men understand the importance of a small, disciplined circle. People who are also focused. People who understand hard work. People who respect ambition. Those are the only people who should have insight into what you're building. Everyone else, they can find out later, after the results speak for themselves, because results eliminate doubt. Results eliminate criticism. Results eliminate unnecessary conversation. When people see results, the talking stops. And that's the beauty of moving in silence. You allow your actions to speak louder than your words ever could. Another crucial element of moving in silence is the mastery of your own emotions. When you are constantly talking about your goals, you are relying on external motivation. You are waiting for someone to say, "Good job," to feel validated. But what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the views drop, or the sales slow down, or the market shifts? If your drive is tied to other people's reactions, you will quit the moment things get quiet. But when you move in silence, your motivation is entirely internal. You become self-sustaining. You learn how to generate your own momentum, and that makes you incredibly dangerous to any obstacle in your path. Now let's talk about discipline, because discipline is the foundation of silent success. When you're moving quietly toward your goals, you don't receive constant applause. Nobody is cheering for you every day. Nobody is validating every step you take. It's just you and the work. And that's where real character is built. That's where real strength is built, because you're learning how to stay committed even when nobody is watching. You're learning how to push forward even when recognition isn't immediate. And that mindset separates high-value men from everyone else. They don't need constant validation. They don't need everyone's approval. They don't need the spotlight. Their satisfaction comes from progress, from growth, from knowing they are becoming a stronger, more disciplined version of themselves. And that kind of mentality is rare, extremely rare. Most people want attention before results. Most people want recognition before discipline. Most people want praise before sacrifice. But the men who move in silence reverse that order. They sacrifice first. They work first. They struggle first. And then, eventually, the recognition arrives. But by that time, recognition doesn't even matter anymore, because the real reward was never the attention. The real reward was the transformation, the growth, the confidence that comes from knowing you built something through your own discipline. And that's why high-value men don't broadcast their moves. They don't broadcast their strategy. They don't waste time convincing the world they are serious. They simply move quietly. They stay focused. They stay disciplined. And while everyone else is talking about what they're going to do, the silent men are actually doing it. Because the men who truly win in life choose results every single time. And they let those results speak for them. If you enjoyed this video and you appreciate content like this, we are working toward reaching 100,000 subscribers on this channel. I truly appreciate all of the support. Please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button so you don't miss future content. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you on the next video.